everyone. Welcome to the Verkos show. Today's guest is all the way from America, a mother who lost her daughter and has the strength of starting a movement in honor of the daughter. Please welcome Elizabeth Gerald. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, and thank you for having me on your show. I'm just so honored. Thank you so much.
The feeling's mutual, and I thank you for your time and being
Mhm.
on my show.
Okay.
The reason why I approached you is when you sent me that link of the documentary about your daughter, it was
hmm
so emotional. It hit me really hard. And I thought, this woman has to tell her story, and this movement has to be like progressing through the world because it's so
Right,
powerful.
right.
So that's what touched me the most. And I thought, oh my God, I've got to get her on my show. So I'm glad you're with
Thank
me. Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
God bless you. Now, just tell us a little bit about Marcie.
Well, Marcie was an honor roll student. She had dreams of going to Harvard Law. She wanted to be a Supreme Court justice one day. She was a state finalist for the teen pageants. We would volunteer to feed like the homeless people, and she was just an average teenage girl. Beautiful heart, very kind-hearted, very loving person. Just a regular teen girl. She liked to debate with me and hang out with her friends. Go to the show and do things little teenage girls do.
Oh, that's nice. So what
hmm
actually happened when her life turned around?
Um, but what essentially happened was she was an honor roll student, and she was brutally sexually assaulted. And because of that, she kind of spiraled down. And I did get her counseling because everybody always say, "Well, why you didn't get her counseling?" She had PTSD, depression. She's afraid of men, anxiety. And I did get her counseling. She went to the Laney Foundation. Dr. Summer Rasmussen was her doctor, a great doctor. I would refer Summer to anybody.
And also,
But
how
there
old
is,
was she at the time? How old was she at the time?
she was 14 when attacked and 15 when she took her life. She, as I was saying, she spiraled down and it got to the point. Well, let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
The sexual assault was so bad that her ovaries and uterus swollen to the point where she couldn't walk. She was in the hospital. They ended up giving her Tramadol for the swelling and pain and swelling of her ovaries and uterus. Um, she had to go. They had to give her a Plan B pill in case he had gotten her pregnant. She had to get all kind of shots and all kind of things she had to go through in case he had STDs because he had been predisposed to AIDS because he had just gotten out of prison himself. He wasn't even. He was supposed to have registered at a halfway house in Chicago, but he went undetected. So she had to go through all that, and then she had to go through. It's called an anti-AIDS. It's like some pills they give her, and the pills made you sick and they made her throw up and stuff. So she went through a lot, and so that's another trauma. And she started wearing she stopped wanting to get her hair did, stopped wanting to get her nails did. So she would start wearing like big clothes, dark clothes, black, dark green, dark blue, no pretty colors no more, just her hair in a ponytail. Um, she didn't want to go to the store with me anymore. She didn't want to leave the house. It was like night and day.
It's a lot to endure. Like, I mean, 14 years old, like, you can't even imagine what was going through her head.
Right, right,
I just get emotional. I'm so
right.
sorry for your loss. It's a lot because
Thank
I don't
you.
think people realize the aftermath of this thing.
Right,
Like you said,
right.
she has to take medication. She has to do tests. She has to do.
Yeah, it's a lot.
She's only 14 years old.
Right,
You know.
right.
So
hmm
what happened after she got all the treatment, everything? You took her to counseling.
And they did get him right away. And so we had to start going to court. And it's month after month after month. And, as we would go to court, he would be turning around, looking at us, smiling and winking and, just being straight ignorant.
That
And
wouldn't.
it's not,
No, it's not good for
you
a
know,
mother. Yeah.
right. So, and what I've learned is it's not even just him. Even a lot of people who lose their kids or family members to murder. A lot of murder suspects do the same thing. They taunt the families, the victims' families, a lot of them. So we ended up taking a plea deal. And, you know, he ended up just telling my daughter if he wasn't so beautiful, he wouldn't have been attracted to her. So she has nobody to blame but herself because he couldn't help himself. This dude was almost 30 years old. He was like 300 pounds. She was 100 pounds and 14. And that's what really, I think, just pushed her over the edge.
Yeah, because can you imagine
she had did nothing wrong.
To a 14-year-old girl that it's your fault? She'll carry
Right.
that out of her innocence. She wouldn't know any better. And no matter how much anyone says, they take it in their own way, you know?
Right.
So what actually happened to him after, like once he got...
He went to jail. He did go to prison. I don't think he knows she's deceased. She ended up taking her life. She took he went to jail and you know, just been there. And what essentially happened was, the day she took her life was, you know, just one of those days, because this is after, you know, this had happened. I was doing laundry and I kept asking, did she need anything? Was she hungry or anything? She kept saying no. So then about 10 o'clock, she had asked me to run her some bath water and put chamomile and lavender oil in the bath. And I did. And she was in the tub for about an hour and I kept checking, hey, are you okay? And she kept saying, yeah, I'm okay, mommy. And so it maybe was after maybe 11 or so, or 12, she came down and gave me a hug and kiss and said, I love you, mommy. And I said, I love you too. And then she said, can I sleep on top of you? Well, you know, she did. So I never knew that'd be the last time my baby would speak to me. The next morning when I got up, you know, I said, Marcie, wake up. Nothing happened. And I said, Marcie, wake up. Nothing happened. And I said again, Marcie. And I'm visually impaired. And so I ran and screamed for my son and said, come downstairs. There's something wrong. I can't wake Marcie up. So he came downstairs and he looked around the corner. He says, Mom, call 911, call 911. And he started screaming. He went back upstairs and I called 911 and I said, I can't wake my daughter up. That she actually something wrong. So they were there, you know, like maybe a minute and a half to 2 minutes at the longest. They came in, they laid her on the floor and started doing chest compressions and CPR. I ran in the bathroom. I was brushing my teeth, washing my face, because this is like 6 o'clock in the morning. I hear one of the paramedics said, we got to rush to the hospital. I threw on my house shoes, ran out the door. My son came and said, Mom, what happened? What's going on? I said, I don't know. They told me I had to sit in the front and they were in the back working on her. When we got to the hospital, it was doctor and a couple of nurses were standing outside. They ran her to the back and I was trying to run behind them. And then I almost fell because, like I said, I'm visually impaired. And one of the nurses grabbed me and said, I'm going to take you around the other way. So she took me around through the emergency room doors. They took her through the back of the hospital, you know, so they're emergency doors. And she took me around and sat me on the bed. She said, Miss Joe, let me go see what's going on. I said, okay. So she went in the back and a few minutes later she came back and she said, the doctor needs you to start calling your family. And I said, why, what's wrong? Is she in a coma? I mean, the surgery, what happened? And she says, I don't know. The doctor just said for you to call your family. And I said, well, you know, I didn't bring a purse. I didn't have a phone. So she said, just who do you want me to call? I'll call them. So I gave her my sister's number, my niece's number. And so she said, I'll call your family and I'll let you know. So she went and called everybody. And then she came back and said, your family member's on the way. And I said, again, what's going on with my daughter? Where's she at? What's going on? So she goes, and she says, well, let me see what the doctor has to say. And so she went back to see what the doctor said. And then a few minutes later, it was a doctor, the nurse, and it was a third person. And they asked me to come walk with them. And they took me into the small room. And the doctor said, Mr. I need you to sit down. And I said, okay. And then at that time, the third person informed me that he was a chaplain. And none of this is dawning on me that I was a chaplain in the room. They were in a small room. I'm still saying, what's with my daughter? What's going on? And they said, the doctor's declaration was, Mr. This is one of the hardest parts of my job. And he says, in fact, this is the part I really hate. And I said, what happened? What's going on? And he told me she expired. There's nothing they can do. And it was like I was in a twilight zone.
That's the worst
thing. It just
thing.
didn't seem, right. It didn't seem real.
You know what? I could just imagine. You probably saw it in the doctor's faces yourself, and you thought, no, this is not happening. This is not happening. I
was
can't,
just
like,
like,
being a mother too, I hear it would be the worst thing. But then no one has walked your shoes to experience exactly what did happen to you, and having that
right,
news, the doctors, like,
right.
I don't even think anyone can imagine that.
Mm,
Like,
no.
and then what gave you the strength? Because, like, to be where you are today, I know it's taken a lot for you. And in honoring her and her life, you started this movement, the MJG movement.
Mhm.
Do you want to tell us about where that's going and how it's helping others?
Yes, I can. Well, after my daughter's death, excuse me, people had
Oh, sorry.
uh, uh, after my daughter's death, people would say to me, you know, because she died by suicide, and people kept saying, "Why aren't you ashamed to tell people she died by suicide? Well, she committed suicide?" And no, and then they would say stuff like, "Well, Black people don't commit suicide," and they would rather. I think in the African American community, they'd rather say it's a natural cause or anything because of the stigmas and taboos. And that's my daughter. No, it's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, she went through something traumatic. It's not like,
And that can happen really to anyone, like,
to
just
anybody.
like
And
that. That's right.
and the thing is, what people don't even realize is that we have more suicides and homicides in the African American community, but because of the stigmas and taboos, nobody wants to talk about it. So, when it's a Black on Black shooting, it's crickets, but when it's a police shooting, it's like, let's go to war. And we're tired of killing it. And, my thing is we should be tired of everything, not just the police. No, nobody has the right to kill nobody. And I don't care if you're Black, white, or purple. The pain is the same with it. Our kids are not coming back. So nobody should be murdered. I don't care if it's a Black person killing a Black person, a white person killing a white person, a Black killing a white, or a white killing a Black. It's not right. So, I don't think we should look at one over the other because, death is just death. They're not coming back. So I decided to start doing my own research. And that's when I started seeing about, reading about all the stigmas and taboos. And, I started reaching out to other therapists and other doctors, and they would talk to me and tell me about all the different things. And I decided to start MJG movement, which is her initials. Her name is Marcie Jonea Gerald. So those are her initials. And I decided to start it as a non-for-profit. And what essentially it was to do like suicide prevention and be like a rape crisis and suicide prevention. And then what essentially happened is I started having families who've lost to gun violence, and they reached out like, well, what about us? We're mothers too. So I incorporated that. Then the mothers who've lost to police shootings, I incorporated that. Then domestic violence, and I have mothers who've lost their daughters to domestic violence, where I incorporated that. And then sex trafficking. And more and more people started reaching out to me and telling me their stories, like, hey, we need your help. And so I have a group of doctors that I partner with, and we provide therapy. I refer the doctors for the therapy. If they need us to go to court, we go to court with them. If they need help, like if it's a domestic violence and they need to get to a hotel or, get out the house and need help finding housing, we do that.
On you. Good on you. Know what it is? The truth has got to be told. It doesn't
Right,
matter what, there
right,
shouldn't be
right,
shame. This is what changes the world, and this is what brings
right,
people together. If we all
right,
have a platform where we can
right,
speak, like I
right,
know with
right.
my show, why I created my show, I've got a
Mhm,
past too, that where I've had my struggles and my trials and tribulations, which not
mhm,
many people know. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to create a show that's going to be a
mhm.
platform where people can actually share their truth and people can
Right,
resonate and can come together as one. And that's
right,
what your
right,
movement is doing. And it's
right,
honoring your daughter too, and the love and the
right,
passion you have for her. And
right.
if you, and I know in your shoes, being in your position, like if you could save someone from going down that road that your daughter did, it's made an impact in the world,
It's
even if
worth
it's,
it. Right, right. It's
and
worth it. Right,
this is like my show too. If I can even just impact one person by sharing someone's story and
right.
say, hey, she
Exactly.
survived
Right.
this, she lived this, she passed it, and she used that negative as a positive, and now she's helping
Right.
others, which
Right.
this is what brings humanity together. Is that,
Exactly.
and
I turn my pain into my power. And, I
good on
just think if we all just come together and there's so much hate in the world, and people hate for all kinds of reasons. It could be your skin, it could be your race, it could be your nationality, it could be your religion.
yep, yep.
We're all human. And
That's
you
right.
know, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Once we're gone, we're gone. And you know, we know nobody knows what's happened on you know, once we're not here.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine it being like with all this hate and stuff. I
Yeah.
really don't. I think it's
You know what I think the first step is? Forgiveness. Forgive.
Mhm.
And I also, well, we're all born in this world the same way, and we all leave the same way. So there's no difference between anyone. Color,
Right.
religion, race.
Nothing. Nothing.
No, we're all
No.
one. And this is what these situations are doing. They're bringing us together by us sharing the
Right.
truth. And
Right.
you're an amazing woman. And like you said, you
Thank
turn
you.
your emotional state into thinking, you
Mhm.
know what, I'm going to turn it into positive. And if this was
Right.
meant to be on my path to do this, well, then so be it. And then you've actually opened the doors, and it actually is coming to you where you're actually helping without even realizing, and you're doing this movement.
Right.
It's impacting. Yeah. So
Right.
it takes a big heart and a big soul to do
Thank you.
something like that. God bless you. I really thank you for that. So if
Thank
you
you
have
so
a
much.
message, no, I'm really grateful, and thank you for sharing this, because it's an emotional journey. It's reminding you too.
Mhm.
But people need to see this and hear this. So at this
Right.
present moment, if you had a message to deliver to the world, what would that message be?
Love. Love and kindness. That's just share and spread love. And that's the only way we're gonna make it. And you know, it takes more to have hate and anger than it does to have love and compassion. It really
Yeah,
does.
it does. Beautiful message, because I'm a love girl too. This is my mission, is to share love, spread love, show love, receive love, give love in all our
Right.
glory. So people
Right.
can see, you know
Right.
what? Hey, all
Right.
that outside of us, it's all stress, it's fear, it doesn't really exist unless we create it in our life. So what if we functioned from love, you know, like a
Right.
different
Right.
energy to it? Like, it's just incredible.
Right.
And this is what we've got to all tune in and tap in. And by sharing our
Mhm.
stories, I really love, and I love doing
Mhm.
what I'm doing. It just
Right.
enlightens me too, and inspires me just hearing you and your journey and how you've
Thank
used that
you.
negative to a positive. So I
Right.
thank you so much for being on
Oh,
my show.
thank you.
I
Thank you for
appreciate you.
having me.
Is there
Thank
any
you for
way
having
anyone
me.
can get in contact with you?
Yes, I'm on Facebook. I'm Elizabeth Gerald, Gerald. Then it's a TF for Team Family. I have an MJG movement page. I'm on IG as Elizabeth Gerald, and I think it may be Marcie's Marvels. It's the pictures are comic book pictures of my comic book, and those are the way to contact me.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Um, we'll always be in contact anyway. So we're signing off for now from the Talk Show
Thank you.
Angel on the Verkos Show. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.